may be wondering why I'm so dressed up. It's because I'm here to talk to you about video games. So, I am doing my project of video game design, because I like video games. But, what is a video game designer? A video game designer is a person who is in video game design. A person who's in video game design has many roles, but they all fall under the umbrella of making a video game complete and available for purchase. There's so many different subsections to video game design, but the one that interests me the most is game combat designer. While doing the research for this, I was expecting maybe like 10 different people, or say not people, subsections to work on it. No, it was like over 100 just different people that work on it. Yeah,
Similar to film.
Yeah, it was crazy. So what is a combat designer? A combat designer is someone who adds new items to the game, such as armors, weapons, spells, and abilities. But if that wasn't cool enough, they also decide the number values for the items that are implemented into the game, creating balance. I included a picture here because you can see there's a bunch of random numbers that don't make any sense to you, but my job, if I got combat designer, would be I get to decide what those numbers are and just create the number values for everything. I can't explain any more than that. I just think that's really, really fun and interesting. What are the industry standards? The industry standards are Unity on Unreal, but there's lots of different options to it. Unity may be preferred to Unreal based off its use of C++ compared to Unreal's C#. C++ has a steeper learning curve, but you can also do more with it, while C# is easier, but you can do less. Both are still great options. It's in the industry. It's a big. Both are used a lot. I can't think of the word. Unreal Engine is considered to be the default for video game design, not only for its ease of use, but also its amazing potential. All right, what are the financials like? Here you can see that the salary really depends on this picture right here. The salary really depends on what company you work for, as these 5 different companies, between them, there's a severe difference between the top and the bottom. And these are the top 5. And even just between the top 5, $70,000, that's a lot. But it's hard to find an average because it's a lot about experience, what company you're working for. It's hard to find a good average on salary. I've seen a lot of different answers. So the jobs availability. Looking into freelance opportunities for video game design, it seems like it's hard to come by, especially for the position I'm looking for, but they would much more prefer a full-time employee. During this assignment, I found lots of available job opportunities that were promising, like this one. This is maybe my favorite game of all time, God of War, and they were offering my wanted position, and I was like, wow, if only I had a few more years of experience, that would be perfect. Yeah. So current work in the industry, this is Dead by Daylight. Sold over 60 million copies, and those are a lot of different licenses they've got acquired. So, So, Dead by Daylight is a multiplayer horror game that I believe is unique in the way that they have amassed so many different franchises. That alone is cool, but I think that the legal process behind it is very interesting. The legal hoops you have to jump through to have Michael Myers from Halloween chasing Steve Harrington from Stranger Things is very complicated. But then add 20 more other licenses, like all those ones you see over there, and it's just a nightmare. But it's really interesting. I've actually emailed the company who makes this before. I didn't get a response, but I was like, how do you do that? It's so cool. Yeah. And then another game is Alan Wake 2. This is also another trend in media that you see over there. Those are actually the people who are in the game are people in real life. They use face scanning. They put you've probably seen pictures of it where they have all the balls over their body with the tight suits. It's motion capture. Yeah, I think it's cool that they're implementing that in the video game as well. But Alan Wake 2 was created by Remedy Entertainment, and is a dark horror game about a writer that whatever he writes comes to life. The reason I bring it up is because of how they've developed their own game, or they've developed their own game engine. Instead of using industry standards like Unreal or Unity, they've decided to make their own. This comes at the cost of training new staff and creating the engine. It takes time because people aren't used to it. But it's very nice because then it's customized exactly to how you want to use it in the game. So there's lots of options besides just the standards of what would normally be used.
Which studio is that?
This is Remedy Entertainment, or yeah, Remedy Entertainment. So actually, back to Dead by Daylight, they were an indie game before they became really popular. So all their code is also a bunch of hogwash. It's all tied in with weird aspects. It makes it really hard to make changes to it. But because it got so popular, they can't really do much to change it because it's so fundamental. So while it still uses industry standards, you still got to relearn it essentially because of how strange it is. Standards of the industry. Usually, you'd want a bachelor's degree in video game design, computer science, or another software-focused degree. That'll get you in the door, but to get a job, you're really going to want to have some experience in the industry itself. Either just programming, making your own indie games, or just design, things like that. All right, and wrapping things up, I definitely see myself pursuing this career in video game design due to it being very interesting and fun. I've played video games my whole life. I love it. So this goofy picture, that's all I can find of Kokenauer. Most of y'all know this is Professor Kokenauer. He's like right over there. He is the teacher here for video game design. He's great, but yeah, that's the teacher. Later this year, I'll be taking Intro to Video Game Design, and in my own time, I'll be getting introduced to the core concepts of just Unity and Unreal and just design. That's it. All right. I got a lot of credit. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, questions? Okay, we can take 3 questions because we gotta get the other guys.
Right.
Yes.
If you were to make a game, would you make your own engine?
No. No. All right. Yes.
So you mentioned that Unity is pretty big, but I haven't really seen much from them since I was like a kid playing games online. So what do they make now? Or like what do people use?
What do they make now?
Yeah.
I could not tell you.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. I know a lot of things are using Unreal Engine though. Fortnite runs on Unreal. Other games that I don't have off the top of my mind, but I see Unreal Engine a lot.
Marvel Studios and Star Wars uses Unreal to make their backgrounds.
Thank you. But yeah, so Unreal Engine is a lot. Question?
So I didn't even know that combat design was a thing. Okay, let me see what.
You're fine. You can answer your question while I switch over to your presentation. So go ahead. You can keep answering questions while I do this.
But I guess wanted to ask, is there any other aspect of the design that you were looking into?
Oh yeah, great question. Another aspect or another route that really interests me is like level design. So like where all the objects go, like making a map where players will know like, oh, I need to go this way, even though it's not just a giant yellow arrow telling you where to go. It's like intuition makes you want to go this way. So I think that's really interesting. I wanna get into that.
That could lead into combat design.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I think of like whatever, like say if any weapon could specifically help in dealing with a specific obstacle in a level.
Oh yeah, so like Overwatch or CS:GO, there's a lot of map design that goes into those, especially shooter games. But just high ground and just random boxes you can take cover behind. That's a big part of it.
Y'all need to have the Gamers Club that like offline just chat about next development and who's doing what